Hello and welcome to this movie scene recreation work. So I've recreated two movie scenes and I've done them virtually and they've had different results. First scene is this, where we've got Grand Moff Tarkin talking to Leia, Darth Vader stood behind her. The second scene I think is more iconic and it was actually much easier to recreate. It is in the initial scene of Star Wars A New Hope and Leia is putting a message into R2-D2 and then R2-D2 is put in an escape pod and sent down to the planet. So I used a program called Satellite 3D. So with Satellite, we get all this complex stuff and you can basically build a set. Now I've built a set here, as you can see. I've set the walls and the ceiling to black. You can add in models and you can add in a variety of props, but you only get certain models here. You don't get Darth Vader, you don't get Grand Moff Tarkin. And so I've had to use approximations. This model here is the closest I could get to Leia, this is the closest I could get to Darth Vader, and this is the closest I could get to Grand Moff Tarkin. Now on the screen now I'm going to show you the image I got, and now I'm going to put it side by side with the image I was hoping to recreate. I used a variety of lights and I built quite a complex set at the back. So over here we've got a wall, we've got lots of shapes in it, and that's to give the texture that you can see in the background. I don't know if I've done that particularly well. In Star Wars you see lots of these sort of light panels in Star Destroyers and in the Death Star, and I've used this here to recreate that, and that is white reflector boards with black card in front of it with a light shining onto it. Over here I've added an upside down shape to try and replicate the console you get in the back. I've not done particularly well there. And here I've tried my best to recreate the lighting you see in the scene. So I've used an overhead panel, I've used a variety of lights on softboxes, and here is my camera. So it's not been brilliant. This is the opening scene on board the spaceship when Leia is trying to get the Death Star plans into R2-D2 and sends them off. I couldn't get a Leia. This was the closest I could get to Leia. Clearly she's not dressed like this, but this was the best I could do. I do find Satellite fairly difficult in terms of posing, but that doesn't matter too much. Believe it or not, I was able to build an R2-D2 out of props. So here we've got props, and if I go along, got quite a lot of extensive props, no robots unfortunately, but if I go along here we've got basic white shapes. So I used a cylinder, a hollow sphere, and I used I think a triangle here, a non-gon here, and from a distance you get what I'm trying to do. You can see up here I went through various stages, just building things out, adding things in, and while it's in no way a complete replica of the scene, I have managed to replicate the archways. Again, I had to use an archway prop, so I couldn't get the exact shape that you see in the film. This was the closest I could get, and I can change the archway. So I put lots of archways in, and I've added lights to make it fairly dramatic. You might say that the first one is better than the last one. In the last one, I've added lots of coloured gels. I feel this is a good recreation within the limits of the software I'm using. Now, don't get me wrong, Satellite 3D is very good. It's really good for doing model shoots and planning out shoots and planning out the lighting. It's maybe not perfect at recreating Star Wars scenes though. Those are my scenes. Let me know what you think, and if you'd like to see more of this type of content, do let me know as well. I'm going to be trying to recreate some more scenes by using different methods and different softwares and different approaches. And equally, if you want to know more about Satellite 3D, do let me know in the comments and I can do some more videos on that. But thank you ever so much. Goodbye.